Hello, viewers. How are you doing? Today we are going to look at solving quadratic equations, as you can see on the board. Using, in my previous video, I did show you how to solve quadratic equations using a method called factorization. Now, this time round, I need to show you how you can solve quadratic equations. I did mention there are 4 ways you can solve quadratic equations. There's the graphical approach. There's completing the square method. There is the factorization method, and there's the quadratic formula. So I explained already factorization. So now I'm going to explain to you how you can solve the same quadratic equations using these 2 techniques, quadratic formula and completing the square method. Now, straight to the point. Now, I'll start with, let me give an example. So we have So we have 2x squared. I'm sorry for that. 2x squared minus 2x minus 24 is equals to 0. Now I'm going to start with completing the square method. Now this is what you're going to do. Step number 1, I take this constant, which is -4, onto that side. So then I'm going to get 2x squared minus 2x is equals to positive 24. Remember, when a value crosses the equation sign, the sign it had, if it's a positive, becomes a negative. If it's a negative, becomes a positive. Okay. Then the next step is now making sure the coefficient of x squared is 1. Now in our case, the coefficient of x squared is 2. So we need to make it 1. So what do you do? So you're going to divide all through by 2, by 2, by 2 to make sure this coefficient of x squared is 1. Okay, so what do we get? 2 and 2 cancels out, and you get now it's 1. X squared minus x is equals to 12. That's the second step. Now that step, I'm going to take the coefficient of x. What's the coefficient of x? Now the coefficient of x in this case is -1. It's -1. So I take the coefficient of x, which is -1. I divide it by 2. All right. I divide it by 2. I square the results, and then I add it on both sides of the equation. Okay, so let's see. So you're going to get then x squared minus x plus, into brackets, minus 1/2 squared. 1/2, that's 1/2, is equals to, we had 12 there. So 12 plus -1/2 squared. All right. Now for simplicity, what you're going to do, just ignore this. Although now once you factorize, we are going to get, basically we consider this one and that one. So once you factorize on the left-hand side, we simply get x minus 1/2 squared. Okay, so simply I just ignored this for simplicity. It works because it becomes a perfect square. So is equals to, now on this other side we had 12, and then of course it will be plus 0.5. Negative times negative gives you a positive. So plus 0.5 squared gives us 0.25, which is 1/4. Okay, 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, which is 0.25. Okay, so then put a line there. So we have then x minus 1/2 squared is equals to, so you get 12.25. Okay. Now the next step is now to get rid of the square sign. And you know, if you need to get rid of a square, you find the square root, correct? So you get the square root. So square root of x minus 1/2 square. So we need to get the square root on both sides. So whatever you do on one side must equally be done on the other side. So you get the square root. So square root of x minus 1/2 is simply x minus 1/2 is equals to, now what's the square root of 12.25? 12.25, the square root is 3.5. And remember, anytime you get the square root of a number, plus or minus appears. So our answer will be in 2. So you have plus or minus 3.5. So then we have x minus 0.5 is equals to plus or minus 3.5. Now first solution becomes x is equals to the positive 3.5 plus 0.5, which gives us, we get 4, right? 3.5 plus 0.5 is 4. So first solution of x is equals to 4. Second solution becomes, the second solution for x becomes x is equals to negative 3.5 plus 0.5. Okay. And that is going to give us, what's the answer? Negative 3.5 plus 0.5. We get negative 2. So the second solution for x is negative 2. And there we have it. X is equals to negative 2, or x is equals to 4. All right. Let's try solving the same equation using the quadratic formula. So quickly, I'll just rub this, the same one using the quadratic formula. Let's see if we get the same answers. So we got x as negative 2 and x as 4. All right, so there it is. Now, what does the quadratic formula state? Now, the quadratic formula states, I'm going to write it here. X is equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything over 2a. That's the quadratic formula. Remember, all quadratic equations have the general form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So let's now get our a. Now this is quite simple. You just slot in the values into the quadratic formula. So the value for a is 2 in our equation. The value for b is negative 2, and the value for c is negative 24. Let's plug them in to our equation. So we then get x is therefore supposed to be minus b, which is b is negative 2. So it's minus into brackets minus 2. Okay. Then plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is negative 2 squared. I'll just put it's 4. Negative 2 squared is 4. And then minus 4 times 2 times negative 24. And everything over 2 times a, which is 4. A is 2, so that gives us 4. Now let's simplify it. We get then x will be 2 plus or minus the square root of. Now let's speak this part first. What is negative 4? So that is negative 4 times 2 times negative 24. What do you get? So negative 4 times 2 times negative 24. That gives us 192, positive 192. So you get then we have 4 and positive 192. Okay. And then everything divided by 4. So simplifying further, we have then 2 plus or minus the square root of 196, sorry, 196. Everything over 4. And that gives us 2 plus or minus, what's the square root of 196? Square root of 196, what do you get? And you're right, it's 14. So 14 over 4. So remember, you're solving for x. Let's now get the solutions. The first x will be, x is equals to 2 plus 4, which is 16. So you get 16 over 4, and that gives us 4. That's the first solution. Second solution for x becomes 2 minus 14. So x becomes 2 minus 14 gives us negative 12. Right? So negative 12 divide by 4, sorry, and we get our answers. X is equals to negative 3. That is now solving using the quadratic formula. Okay, that is solving using the quadratic formula. So we have x as negative 3 and x as 4. Thank you for watching. Please follow, subscribe, and share my videos to get more of the videos I keep releasing. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.